בטחים גם יחד.
Page 3.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד. Get ready to clap. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה ליי 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 ליי. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה ליי 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 ליי. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
I want to, first of all, we have a wonderful congregation here with us today, and I'll say Shabbat Shalom to everybody who is joining us online as well. And of course, a special thank you to those of you who are our members here at Temple Emanu-El. We literally could not be here without you all. I'm Rabbi Rachel Miller, here with Cantor Lauren Adesnik, and of course, having selected a lovely last name, we also have the Miller family, who Julian and Ayla will lead us beautifully in this service tonight. For those joining online, a little bit of new protocols here in the sanctuary. Cantor and I are up on the bima with our congregational family, socially distanced, and we're masked and they're unmasked, while the rest of the congregation is masked and keeping their masks, please, over your mouth and nose throughout our service. I think most of you have found them, but you should have in your hands a red siddur. This is the prayer book we'll be using for the service. Those joining on Facebook, you will find it being pinned into the Facebook feed at this time. And if you'll open to just a random page, you'll see Hebrew with the Hebrew text on the right, transliteration, the Hebrew but in English text, and the translation on the far side. Our Siddurim go right to left. Additionally, if you don't know the words, if this is your first Shabbat service ever, we still invite you to clap along, pray along, la-las, anything you'd like to raise up your voice in prayer. If you need to leave the sanctuary, you could do so heading out that exit, or there's an exit behind you, and there's also an exit over here as well. So friends on Facebook, take a minute to say Shabbat Shalom. Friends in the sanctuary, turn to one another, take a second and say Shabbat Shalom, and we'll sing a little Hine Ma Tov.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה ליי 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 ליי. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה ליי 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 ליי. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד.
Page 5. So at this time, Candy and Fred, you guys are going to get to formally have this chance to wrap your children in talitot. And those are our talits. And they're a sacred garment that we beg, actually, before this day, really weren't supposed to wear it because they're waiting for this moment to become an adult in our Jewish community. And that will be the launching point for their continued journey in Jewish life. And so, if everybody's on page 3, I'll have Fred and Candy go ahead and read for us this little blessing at the top. From As This Talit. Also, Fred, why don't you grab the talit? Don't wrap yet, just hold.
Yeah, you just hold it first. Yeah,
Mhm.
you got it.
There you go.
As this talit is draped around your shoulders, may the voices of the generations speak to you. May you know that there is a people, a rich heritage to which you belong, a sacred place from which you are connected to all who dwell on earth. As you are embraced in the folds of this talit, so too are you wrapped in the loving embrace of your family, community, and this holy congregation. May the simplest of garments always be for you a symbol of God's abiding and sheltering presence. As you recite the blessing and wrap yourself in this talit, we proudly watch and celebrate with you as you accept your place in the chain of our tradition.
All right, so first it'll be Julian. So Julian, whichever talit is yours, have that sort of in front of you. And you'll recite your blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen. Perfect, beautiful. Ayla, please.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, wonderful. Fix any hair you need to be comfy. And we love these happy, happy moments and this chance to declare that we have finally reached this wonderful time and place in not only their Jewish journey, but in the Jewish calendar so that we can all be together, wrap arms around each other a little bit here, and we'll join together in Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh. Amen.
Page 6, Julian will start us off.
God be with us on this occasion of our B'nai Mitzvah. Help me make meaningful of the covenant you now establish with me. Sustain us with a sense of holiness, inspire in us a desire to be special. I do not ask that you make our life easy, resolve our problems, map out the directions of our life. I ask only that you strengthen the will within us to desire and mold a shape in my life according to your will. In this hour of our B'nai Mitzvah, I invoke your blessing upon our family and parents and friends and all who have loved and cared for us and have brought us to this time of gladness. Give them joy and fulfillment in our growth and our achievement. You who turn the hearts of children to their parents and the hearts of parents to their children.
Amen. On page 10, you will find Ashrei, which begins, happy are those who dwell in your house. They will praise you forever and ever. In Julian and Ayla, you guys bring a quiet happiness, but there is this happy joy that you bring into a room, especially to those of us who are willing to seek it out and ask you those questions to know more about you and to make it so that you can share your happiness not only in a sacred space like this, but also with the rest of the world. Ashrei, page 10.
Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od yehalelucha selah.
Ashrei ha'am shekachalo, Ashrei ha'am she'Adonai Elohav.
Tehillah leDavid, aromimcha Elohaicha melech, va'avarcha shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Bechol yom avarchecha, va'ahala shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Gadol Adonai umehulal me'od, v'li gdulato ein haker.
Dor ledor yeshavach ma'asecha, ugvurotecha yagidu.
Hadar kevod chodecha, v'divrei neflotecha asicha.
Ve'ezuz norotecha yomeru, ugdulatecha asaprena.
Zecher rab tuvcha yabiu, v'tid katecha yarenenu.
Chanun v'rachum Adonai, erech apayim ugdol chesed.
Tov Adonai lakol, v'rachamav al kol ma'asav.
Yoducha Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'chasitecha yivarchucha.
Kavod malchutecha al yomeru, ugevratecha yadeberu.
Lehodia livnei ha'adam gevurotav, ukvod hadar malchutav.
Malchutecha al malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'dor.
Somech Adonai lechol hanoflim, v'zokef lechol hakefufim.
Enechol elecha yasaberu, ve'ata noten lachem ochlam be'ito.
Poteach et yadecha, umaspia lechol ratzon.
Tzadik Adonai bechol derachav, ve'chasid bechol ma'asav.
Karov Adonai lechol korav, lechol asher yikra'uhu ve'emet.
Ratzon yira'av ya'aseh, ve'et shavatam yishma ve'yoshim.
Shomer Adonai et kol ohavav, ve'et kol harshayim yashmib.
Tehilat Adonai yadaber pi, v'yivarech kol basar shem kedisho le'olam va'ed.
Va'anachnu nevarech ya, me'ata ve'ad olam, hallelujah.
On page 13, we have this first chance to join with our B'nai Mitzvah in a responsive reading. So our part is the italics, and Ayla will be leading us in the non-italic text. And the energy that you give us in your reading, in your response, that's the energy that Ayla gets to push back to you. Please.
May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for fellowship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit indifference, selfishness, and harshness.
May the synagogue be for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We rise for Baruch Hu, page 15.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Ya la la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Ayla, this next prayer, which can be found on the front inside cover, as a sticker sort of, on your Sidurim. Our next prayer, Ma'ariv Aravim, it's our evening creation prayer, where we speak about an ever-living, everlasting God. Ayla, we had some chats about God throughout our time together, and this is one of those prayers that can open our eyes to God, not needing to be just some man on a chair with a big beard, but rather a God that can be found in nature, that can be found in miraculous moments and in times of transition. So I invite you to lead us in Ma'ariv Aravim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvivunam mesaneh itim, umahalif et hazmanim, umesadir et hachohavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzenu, b'rei yom v'layla golel or mipnei hosheh, v'hosheh mipnei or, Avir Yom Umavi Lila, Umavdil Bain Yon Uvain Lila, Adonai Sevaot Shemo, El Chai Vikayam Tamid Yimloch, Olenu Leolam Vaed, Baruch Atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim.
Turning back in our prayer books to page 16, Julian in a moment is going to lead us in Ahava Rabbah. And Julian, I want you and everybody to look at the translation for a moment, where it's the third sentence says, keep us from shame and from humiliation and from stumbling today and always. And now, in the prayer, we're asking God to do that for us. But Julian, it's really all of our jobs. It's your job. That when you see somebody who needs out of a situation, that you step in. When you see something bad going on in the world, you be that higher power, if you will, that steps in, uses that godly spark that is inside you, and helps that person, that situation, that place to be more beautiful and to be more whole. Ahava Rabbah, page 16.
Ahava Rabbah of Tanu Adonai Eloheinu, Chemla Gedola Vitera Chamalta Aleinu, Ba'avor Avotenu Vimotenu, Shabbathu V'cha Vatlamdeim Chukei Chayin Kain Techonenu Utlamdenu. Cham Rachem Rachem Aleinu V'tein Bilibenu, L'chavin Ulhazkil, Lishmoa, Lilmod, Ulalamed, Lishmor, V'la'asot, Ulkayem et Kol Divrei Talmud Toratecha Be'achava. Baruch Atah Adonai, Habocher Be'amo Yisrael Be'ahava.
Amen. Friends, we turn to page 18. We feel our feet on the floor. Perhaps we flutter, our eyes closed. We declare God's oneness, words of Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. Now, Julian and Ayla, in a second, you're going to lead us together in Ve'ahavta. And this prayer, this is one that asks us to love God with our mind, our body, our strength. And it actually never tells us to love God with all of our heart until these words in Torah, because these words come from Torah. In the book of Deuteronomy, which you guys are going to be chanting from today, just like 2 weeks ago, I think we saw it. And it's a pretty big deal that this prayer not only lands itself at the end of Torah, but it also made it into our Siddur. And that's even more significant because we're told to do certain things with God, like follow God's commandments. We're told to think about God, those sorts of things. But we're never told until this moment to actually love God. And the Israelites, they may have been struggling with how do we do that? And here it tells us how we're going to do that. We're going to teach lessons to our children. That's an act of love to God. We're going to put mezuzot on our doors. That's going to be an act of love to God. And we're going to think about God throughout our day. And no matter what we think about God, it can mean to be that good person in the world, to live out positive values. So with all of that in mind, I'll invite you guys to lead us in Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושמעתם בלבך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים ללבביכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
I'll invite forward at this time Kim and Matt Ranlett. If y'all will just come up and have your toes sort of on that T down there. We'll keep our masks on, and the mic will pick you up just fine. You guys are pros at this. You just did it not so long ago. Page 19, we pray responsively.
Adonai, our God, you took us out of slavery in Egypt. You made us free.
You were in the courage with which we overcame 40 years of desert wandering.
Even today, you are in the hope that, like a beam of light, brightens the darkness of suffering and despair.
You are in love that creates, protects, forgives.
Standing at the sea, we felt your goodness and your love, and we sang a new song to you. And still today, we sing that song.
Adonai, Redeemer of Israel. Our song of redemption, Micha Mocha, page back in, back inside cover. Back inside cover.
Inside cover, that's
Because
right.
it's different in the morning than it is in the evening. So if you turn to your back inside cover, you will find our words of Micha Mocha.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. All right, everyone, we're going to do that again. I'm going to invite you to clap along with me, just like this. Here we go. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Beautiful. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Keep it going. Micha Mocha. Micha Mocha va'elim Adonai. Micha Mocha ne'edor b'kodesh. Dorah tehilot oseh felet. Dorah tehilot oseh felet. Yai lai lai. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. ונאמר כפר אדוני את יעקב וגאלום יד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Turning back, we go to page 21 as we prepare for our central standing prayer, the Amidah. And it begins with the opening phrase, and then we move into Avot v'Imahot. And Julian and Ayla, this prayer, it names so many people, and it's a reflection that We have so many who came before us so that we could be here today, something I'll talk about in a little bit at our Torah service. And it's a prayer that asks us to connect to generations past and those still yet to be. Our Amidah we rise, page 21.
We join together. Adonai shefatitah ufi agitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Manora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, Bezocher Chasdei Avot v'Imavot, Umevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, L'ma'an Shemo V'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atarach le'Hoshia, Morid hatal, Mechakel chayim b'chesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Solomech noflim berochei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit, Umekayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
Beth and Harvey Burse, if you will please come forward to our tee and our microphone to lead us in our responsive prayer on page 23.
Many are the ways of holiness, varied are its paths.
There is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know.
There is holiness when we are kind to others.
Holiness when we strive for harmony in all of our relationships.
There is holiness when people of different backgrounds work together for a common future.
There is holiness when people seek justice and struggle for righteousness.
There is holiness when people create lasting poetry or song or philosophy.
There is holiness when we forget what divides us and remember what unites us.
Holy, holy, holy is Adonai our God.
Kedusha, page 24.
Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, kishem shemakdishimo to b'shmei marom, kakatuv ayad neviecha, v'kara zel zeh ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Meloch ol haaretz, kevodo, Adir, Adirenu Adonai, Adonenu, Madir Shimcha b'chol haaretz, Baruch kevod Adonai, Mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, v'hu Yashmienu, v'rachamav leinei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Zion, le'dor v'dor.
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador, Nagid God Lecha. Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador, Nagid God Lecha. Ulenetzach netzachim, Kedushatecha nakdish, Kedushatecha nakdish. V'shivchacha Eloheinu, v'pilu lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Here comes your part. Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador, Nagid God Lecha. Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador,
Le Dorvador, Nagid God Lecha. Ki HaMelech Gadol, Gadol v'Kadosh, Gadol v'Kadosh Ata. Ki HaMelech Gadol, Gadol v'Kadosh, Gadol v'Kadosh Ata. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. And Julian will lead us in this responsive prayer, page 25.
From of old, the Jewish people have seen Shabbat as a unique gift, a token of its covenant with God.
Shabbat is the most cherished creation of the Jewish spirit. It mirrors the essence of the Jewish soul.
Shabbat has never been merely a day of rest from labor, it has always been a break in the routine of everyday life.
Shabbat is a symbol of liberation and triumph, of the holy over the profane, of spirit over matter.
In every age, Shabbat afforded the Jew a sacred retreat, a haven of safety, a fountain of new strength and perpetual renewal.
Shabbat nurtures family life in love and harmony, a home at peace. Welcome Shabbat with joy.
Shabbat is part of nature's design, the very purpose of creation. All that was created attained its fulfillment with Shabbat.
Shabbat is our hope, the calm haven where all the weary find rest. With the coming of Shabbat, redemption and peace enter the world. And for instance, this is a prayer of Shabbat joy. We have this custom of asking our B'nai Mitzvah students who are joining us online to, now is the time to let us know you are here and to tell us what you are grateful for and what is bringing you joy. For everybody in here, we invite you to think about that as we pray words of Yismichu, page 26.
Yismechu v'malekutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malekutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Mekadesheh, Mekadesheh Shevei Shabbat. Kulam Yismehu, Leitahu Tuvlecha Shabbat. Here we go. Yismechu v'malekutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malekutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Uvashvi ratzita bo v'kidasho Shabbat. Chemdan yomim, oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malekutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malekutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Zecher, 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 L'ma'aseh b'Reishit Shabbat. Zecher, L'ma'aseh b'Reishit Shabbat. That's time. Yismechu v'malekutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malekutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat.
Page 20 and 27, if Shelley and Gary Davis, Quinn Walker and Clay Davis, if you will come on forward and make sort of a U shape towards the microphone. You'll lead us in this responsive prayer.
Our world is full of wonders and miracles, but all it takes is one little hand placed before our eyes, and we see nothing.
But miracles are all around us and within us. We are each walking miracles.
When we are bruised, what miracle heals us? When we see beauty, what miracle elevates us? When we hear music, what miracle moves us?
When we see suffering, what miracle saddens us? When we give and receive love, what miracle warms us? When we pray, what miracle renews us?
Every springtime is a miracle. Every snowflake is a miracle. The thoughts we think, the words we speak, the hopes we cherish, each is a miracle.
For all these miracles, may your name be exalted and blessed forever and ever. Thank you. As we turn to page 28, if Claire and Bill Friedman will come on forward to lead us in this prayer.
Our God, we know there is no greater gift than peace. Help us to find the peace that comes from the love of your Torah.
Inspire us to banish hatred, war, bloodshed, and bigotry.
Help us to establish forever one human family, doing your will in love and peace.
Help us to find peace in ourselves and among all people. O God of peace, bless us with peace.
You have given us the power, O God, to bring peace and justice into the world. May we always love peace and pursue it, and love our fellow creatures. Fill us with kindness, wisdom, and love. Then shall we learn to live in peace. Blessed is God, teacher of peace. Thank you. We take a few moments for that peace of mind, perhaps a peace of body and spirit as well, as we enter some moments of silent prayer. I'll invite you to do that now, and we'll come together in song in just a few moments.
Oseh shalom b'romav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. May the one who makes peace in the heavens above make peace upon us and all of Israel we join together. Aha, I read the wrong one. Well, Yihiyu l'ratzonim refi. It's still on page 30. Still a part of the same prayer. May the words of our mouths, the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Yihiyu l'ratzon imrefi, v'hegyo libi lifanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, v'goali, v'goali.
So typically at this time, I would have you turn to page 31 so that Candy and Fred could lead us in that prayer, but it's my understanding that they have an alternative.
That is correct, we do. May all the gifts hidden inside you find their way into the world. May all the kindness of your thoughts be expressed in your deeds. May all your learning lead to wisdom. May all your efforts lead to success. May all the love in your heart be returned to you. May God bless your body with health and your soul with joy. May God watch over you night and day and protect you from harm. May all your prayers be answered. Amen.
Amen. Hug, hug, kiss, kiss. I missed that at the Talit blessing, so there's not enough hug, 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 kiss, kiss going on. Wonderful. So at this time, on page 32, we will be entering our Torah service. And it's going to be a little funky we had to change last second, but y'all already had honors, and we want to still honor you and represent that you are here. So when I call your name, though you might not be opening the ark anymore, we still want everybody to have a chance to wave at you. And so when I invite you forward, please just come to the microphone. So in honor of our opening the ark, I'd like to invite up Olga Ellman, Glenn Schwartzberg, Stacy and Michael Schwartzberg, Sally and Scott Schwartzberg. And we will join together once you guys come up in Ki Mission.
And Ayla and Julian, if you guys will do the actual ark opening, that'd be fabulous. Are we rising or not yet?
Once they open, rise, please rise.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Udvar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'Kedushato.
So at this time, I'll have our ark openers. You could, head on back. And I would like for Robert and Mona Siegel, proud grandparents, to come and stand in that space at this time. Oh, this is before that. You're good, you're good. Just follow my lead here, follow my lead. I got you. No, it's all good. And the reason I've called them forward is because without them, you guys could not be here on this day. And in spirit at this time, we recall Arthur and Marcia Miller, as well as Sandra Godfrey. And these are the generations of Torah, Julia, I combined them. Do you guys do that? Julian and, no? Okay. Julian and Ayla. This is that special moment where Torah is, in a few seconds, going to be passed to you. So, Mom and Dad, if you guys could come on in a little closer, shoulder to shoulder, you're good. Because I want to speak to you about what this moment really means. And it's this passing down of our tradition. It's a really sacred moment. This is something, this Torah has been read for thousands of years, these exact same words. And Ayla and Julian, you can imagine that beyond your grandparents who are here, you see their parents, which would be your great-grandparents, and you see their parents and their parents and their parents, and everybody going back, wrapping around this sanctuary to be present with you in this moment. And so at this time, I will have Fred, why don't you go ahead and pick up our Torah, please? Little kiss, kiss from Mom, from Candy. Well, either or, it's fine. But yes, the Torah. And then, that's a good one. Fred, if you will pass the Torah to Julian. who will hold it for just a few moments. All right, and then back to Dad. And then to Ayla. This is that generations part. That's why Julian couldn't pass it to her. And Ayla, you can go ahead and you guys can either stand there together with it, or you are welcome to put it down on the Amud as we join together on page 33, Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai Iti, Unerom Bima, Shemo Yachdav.
So please, proud grandparents, you can be seated, and we'd like to honor or not seated, but back to your seats, sorry, to honor the Susan Jaffe, who is going to be our Torah undresser. If you will come forward, just over at the mic. The camera will catch a little wave, a little closer to our bar and bat mitzvah, and we'll leave the Torah as is for no, never mind. We continue with L'cha Adonai.
And the B'nai Mitzvah family can undress the Torah. Lecha Adonai hagedula, v'hagevura, v'hatiferet, v'hanetzach, v'hahod. Ki ho b'shamayim uvaretz, ki ho b'shamayim uvaretz. Lecha Adonai havilacha, v'hamid na'aseh lechol erosh.
All right, so Candy and Fred, if you will close our ark for us. And I'll invite the congregation to please be seated. And if you'd like to follow along with the Torah reading this afternoon, there is under your seat, hopefully also, the larger dark blue book. One is a Siddur, the other one is the Torah commentary. If you'd like to follow along, it's on page 1406, 1406.
And chanting our first section, I'm sorry. You were going to introduce the Torah portion.
We're in Parshat Eikev. Go ahead.
Okay. Chanting first is going to be Ayla. And for our first Aliyah, we call grandparents Robert and Mona Siegel up to our microphone. Ya'amdu Reuven Moshe ben Daniel David Umiriam Elka la'aliyah la Torah.
Whenever you're ready.
Whenever you're ready.
Baruch Hu es Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch
es
Adonai
Adonai
Hamvarach
Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher bachar banu mikol u'amim. V'nosan lanu es Torah. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Va'asher asa lehel Mitzrayim lesusaf ulrikbo asher hetziv et me yam suf al panehem barodafam aharehem via abodem Adonai ad hayom hazeh. Va'asher azah lachem bamidbar ad belachem ad hamakom hazeh.
Asher Koach. And you're going to keep your yod right where it is, and grandparents, you are going to offer the after blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher nosan lanu Torah emes v'chaye olam notab b'sochenu Baruch atah Adonai nosein Torah.
Amen. Air hugs, air kisses, and Robert and Mona, you may be seated as we call up aunts and uncles, Judy and Kenny Marcus, and Sammy and Bernie Sugar. Ya'amdu Yekutiel ben Yisrael, Yehudit bat Abraham Sarah, Chaim and Hershel, Shmuel bat Yisrael, La'aliyah la Torah.
And take your time.
Start reading.
All right.
Baruch Adonai
Elohim.
From
Baruch
Baruch.
Adonai. V'olam v'ed Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Say that.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'elahei avoteinu. Asher v'kavod ol kusa.
Amen. Nanu Estorah.
El Shaddai. Yeah. Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Goel. That's a rim.
Amen.
Amen. Va'asher asa le'atan v'la'aviram b'nei Eliav ben Reuven asher patzta ha'aretz et piha v'tiv la'em va'et patehem va'et oholehem va'yem kol hayakum asher b'rak lehem v'kerev kol Yisrael ki enehem harot et kol ma'aseh Adonai hagadol asher asa.
Yasher Koach, and we continue with our blessing following the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah shemesh v'hei olam v'nei b'shemreinu. Baruch atah Adonai nosein Torah.
Amen. Air hugs and air kisses, and you may be seated. And we invite proud mom and dad to come on up and offer our Torah blessings. And Ya'amdu Ephraim and Avram, Zisul Devorah bat Reuven, La'aliyah la Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Ushmortem et kol hamitzvah asher anochi mitzaveha hayom lema'an tehezeku uvatem virishtem et haaretz asher atem ovrim shama l'rishta ulema'an ta'arichu yamim al ha'adama asher Nishba Adonai la'avatehem la'tetz lahem uzaram eretz zavat alav udvash.
Yasher Koach, and mom and dad, it's your turn.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torat emet. V'chayei olam nota betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Big hugs and kisses.
And then parents, you'll stay up here. Yep. Mom and dad, stay up.
Yep, mom and dad, you can stay. And Ayla's gonna go have a seat just for a moment. So Ayla, this was the moment we practiced the other day on Thursday. I said, you're gonna have a seat. I'm not gonna tell you, really why, but you're gonna have a seat, and that way on Saturday you'll understand this moment that is about to happen for you. So you have been literally moving towards this moment since the day that you were born. And in a moment when I call you up by your Hebrew name, you are literally going to aliyah, rise into, because aliyah means to ascend into becoming a bat mitzvah. So by having you, Ayla, sit and then move up to the Torah, it's a physical demonstration of you moving from young girlhood, from childhood, into this whole world of being a beautiful, wonderful young woman, a bat mitzvah, a fully fledged member, active participant in our Jewish community. So with that, it is my pleasure and my honor to call you forward as an official bat mitzvah. So you can come on up. Tamad habachar bat mitzvah Adina Daniela bat Ephraim v'Zisel Devorah la'aliyah Torah. And you're going to offer the Torah blessings. Make sure you catch the microphone.
Baruch atah
Baruch hu
Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech
Ha'olam.
asher barhar banu. I'm messing this up so much.
That's all right.
You want to start over? We can do it again. Let's start from the top. Let's do it.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher barhar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Ki ha'aretz asher atah v'shama l'rishta lo ha'eretz Mitzrayim hi asher yatzatem misham asher tizra et saraha v'hishkitav raglaha kekan hayarak v'ha'aretz asher atem ovrim shama l'rishta eretz harim uvkaot limtar hashamayim tishtemayim eretz asher Adonai Elohecha dorei shota tamid Einei Adonai Elohecha ba mereshit hashana ve'ad aharit shana.
Beautiful. And I'll offer our following blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam natan betelheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Yes, hug, hug, kiss, kiss. Oh, Ayla, don't go anywhere. Stay on up. I gotta offer you something. So get nice and together between mom and dad. We're on page 35 if you'd like to follow along. And this is, there you go, yep. This is a blessing, Ayla, for your spiritual growth, that you continue on in this journey. Extra special by the fact that you're now officially a bat mitzvah, and we still have our sacred Torah in our midst. Mishaberach avotinu v'imotinu, Avraham, Yitzhak v'Yakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech et Adina, Daniela, bat Ephraim v'Zaizel Devorah. Shehigia limitzvot va'alta laTorah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, yishmerecha v'chayecha, v'chonen et libah, להיות שלם עם אדוני אלוהיו, להגות בתורתו, ללכת בדרכיו, ולשמור מצוותיו, ותמצא חן ושכל טוב בעיני אלוהים ואדם, ונאמר, Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless you, Ayla, who has come for an aliyah upon the age of mitzvot. May the Holy One guard you, Ayla, and may the Holy One sustain you, helping you to be wholehearted in your faith, studying God's Torah, walking in God's ways, and fulfilling God's mitzvot. May you find favor before God and all people. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
One more hug, hug, kiss, kiss for good measure. And then, Ayla, you can go ahead and be seated.
And Julian is going to come on up. And Julian, you are going to roll. You might need to roll to find your part. And you'll tell me when you found it. I found it. Fabulous. Excellent. And for the honor of our aliyot, our Torah blessings, we call forward Aunts Jessica Siegel and Sarah Siegel. Ta'amdu penina tzipora bat Reuvenu Miriam, Sor Yehudis bat Reuvenu Miriam la'aliyah laTorah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'chaya im shemo tishmeu al mitzvotah asher anochi metzaveh etechem chayom lachava et Adonai Elohechem ul'ovdo b'chol levavechem u'b'chol nafshechem v'natati mitar'etechem be'ito yorei u'malakosh ve'asavta deganecha v'tiroshecha ve'yitarecha v'natati eiseh b'sarecha lechem techa v'chalta v'savata.
Yasher koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Air hugs and kisses. And we invite forward aunt and cousins, Brenda Siegel and Shannon, Ken, and Remy Clayman. Ya'amdu Brina bat Avraham, Shendel bat Tuvio, Yaakov ben Chaim, Yosefa bat Yaakov la'aliyah laTorah.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Hishameru lachem pen yivtem levavechem v'saratem v'avadatem Elohim acherim v'hishtachavitem lachem v'chera af Adonai bachem v'atzar et hashemayim v'lo yihye matar v'cha adama lo titen et yevula v'avadatem mechera me'al haaretz hatova asher Adonai noten lachem v'samtem et devarai eilech al levavechem ve'al nafshechem ugushartem otam leot al yadechem v'chayu letotafot bein einechem.
Yasher koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And it's my pleasure to invite back up proud mom and dad, Candy and Fred, to offer this blessing upon reading the Torah. Ya'amdu Ephraim and Avram, Zisol Devorah bat Reuven la'aliyah laTorah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. ולימדתם אותם את בניכם לדבר בם בשבתך בביתך ובלבבתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען ירבו ימיכם וימי בניכם על האדמה אשר נשבע אדוני לאבותיכם לתת לכם כימי השמיים על הארץ.
Yasher
Beautiful.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. All right, Mom and Dad, you can hugs and kisses. And Mom and Dad can stay where you are, and Julian's going to have a seat for a moment. So, Julian, it's your turn now, right? You've been working towards this moment since the day you were born. And going a little bit further and talking about what it really means to ascend to the Torah, this physical demonstration of that ascension, both you and Ayla are elevating everybody in this room as you yourselves have been elevated into becoming B'nai Mitzvah. So, Julian, this physical demonstration of ascending up to the Bima, up to the Torah, brings us into a whole deeper, more spiritual, more connected realm, connecting to God, to our Torah, to history, to your whole family. So it's my pleasure to invite you forward now as an official bar mitzvah. Yamdu et ha-bachur ha-bar mitzvah Yitzhak Yehuda ben Ephraim v'zisol Devora la'aliyah Torah. And you can offer the blessing. Baruch Adonai Havarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Ki im shamor tishmerun et kol hamitzvah hazot asher anochi metzaveh etechem lasota la'ahava et Adonai Elohechem lalechet bechol derachav uladov kavo v'horish Adonai et kol hagoyim ha'ele milivnechem v'yirishtem goyim gedolim v'atzumim mikem kol hamakom asher tidro kaf raglahem bo lachem yeh min hamidbar v'chalevanon min hanahar nehar parat v'ad hayom ha'acharon yeh gevulechem.
Yasher Koach.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
One more round of hugs as you get Julian to be between the two of you. Yeah. All right, so again on page 35, Julian, this time I offer this Mishaberach for your spiritual growth. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah. Hu yivarech et Yitzchak Yehuda ben Ephraim v'Zisel Devorah. Shehigia lemitzvot v'ala laTorah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishmerehu v'chayehu v'chonen et libo. Lihiyot shalem im Adonai Elohav. Lahagot b'torato lalechet bidrachav v'lishmor mitzvotav. V'yimtza chen v'seichel tov be'enei Elohim v'adam v'nomar. Amen. Julian, may God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you, because you have come for this aliyah upon the age of mitzvot. May the Holy One guard you, protect you, and sustain you. May the Holy One help you to be wholehearted in all that you do in this world, in all of your faith, whether it's in studying God's Torah or as you walk in God's ways, fulfilling God's mitzvot. May you find favor before God and all people. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
So at this time, I'd like to invite forward our honorary Torah dressers. So that would be David and Ben Golden, if you guys would come on up. And if Ayla and Julian will come on up, we are just going to turn to page 36, sing a little Vizot HaTorah as we cover the Torah. So Ayla, will you please grab our Torah cover that's behind you? Please rise.
Vizot HaTorah asher sham Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael. O pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla lai 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 lai. Lai lai la lai lai la lai lai. Yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla lai 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 lai.
Please be seated. Thank you. And now, Julian and Ayla, it is time for you to share with us some of your brilliant and well thought out and beautiful words of Torah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Our Torah portion is a kept from the book of Deuteronomy. Our Torah portion is about how we need to have gratitude towards God. The portion starts with Moses and the Israelites just outside of the land of Israel. Before entering the land of Israel, Moses gave a speech to the Israelites. Moses shared the story of when he came down from the mountain after 40 days and 40 nights. There he saw his people worshiping a different god, the golden calf. Moses was angry and he smashed the two tablets of the 10 Commandments and had to beg for God's forgiveness. He warned the Israelites that when they are safe and prosperous and had all the food they could eat, all the livestock they needed, nice houses and lots of land, to remember that they didn't get this all themselves. The Israelites couldn't have done it without the help from God. If the Israelites thought they were the best all the time, they would ask for more than they should. Moses reminded the Israelites that if they followed the commandments, God would not provide for them. If they didn't, God would not provide, letting them all die.
Moses also told them never to forget that when they have all the riches and food of the promised land, it wasn't because of their actions, but because of God. The Israelites shouldn't be arrogant or have pride in themselves. In order to keep the promised land good and healthy, they must follow the 10 Commandments. Next, he says that when they defeat their enemies, it was them and God, and it wasn't because God thought they were better, it was because God was punishing the wicked. God told Moses to say how powerful a nation the Israelites will be if they do these 3 things. Teach your children about God and his ways, let God's words be a symbol on your hand and forehead, today this means to apply tefillin, and have a mezuzah on your doorpost. The portion concludes as Moses finally says his goodbyes.
I think the main lesson of our Torah portion is the importance of sharing gratitude towards God. In the 10 Commandments, it says there is only one God, so when Moses came down from the mountain and saw the Israelites worshiping a different God, Moses was really mad. Moses had to beg for God's forgiveness and for him not to wipe out the Israelite people. Because of Moses' request, God forgave the Israelites. God and Moses God told Moses to warn the Israelites not to take credit for things he gave to them, especially when they are prosperous in their land. If the Israelites hadn't continued to follow the 10 Commandments, God might have wiped them from the planet. Their thanks showed God they cared and enjoyed what was given to them. Today, it is important to be grateful to God and one another. When someone does something for us, it's important to tell them thank you so they know what we are grateful for, what they did.
I think the lesson of this Torah portion is that people should be humble. Being humble means not to take too much pride in one's actions and to stay low-key about some achievements that one accomplishes. Humility appears in the Torah portion when it states that people need to stay humble once they have all the riches and food of the Promised Land. And if they don't, God said he would stop helping and they would lose most of the food and riches. Back when the Israelites were in the desert or when they were escaping Egypt, some of the Israelites could have said they escaped Egypt on their own. Doing this could have made God not want to help the Jewish people, and they would have stayed slaves for a much longer time. At the end of the portion, God tells the Israelites they will prosper in the Promised Land, but they will need to stay humble and ask for help from some fellow Israelites and from God in order to prosper. The lesson of humility applies in the world today. For example, if someone is doing a task they can't accomplish alone, and they ask for help from someone else, this is humility. Even more so, if the person who received help was asked who did the task, and they acknowledge they got help, this shows humility. This is just like in the Torah portion when God says to keep the Promised Land thriving, they must ask for help from others and from God. They can't do it alone. The lesson relates to me because being humble is a good quality that I work towards every day. When I'm arrogant, I'm most likely not very nice, and the people around me will get their feelings hurt more often. Being humble makes the whole world a better place to live.
Becoming a bat mitzvah means that I am now an adult in the Jewish community. To me, this means I can now choose what I want to do in the Jewish community, whether that is volunteering or going to service. I plan on continuing to make lunches for the Mary How to Freedom House and go to services. Now that I can make my own choices, I want to keep going to the high holiday services. Going to these services are important to me because these are the two most important days in the Jewish religion. To become more involved in the community, I want to volunteer more at Temple Emanu-El. Volunteering is important to help other people in the community.
Being Jewish is important to me because it's a very fast-shrinking religion and one of the smallest religions in the world. It keeps the traditions alive, and it is very special to everyone who is in the Jewish community. It being one of the smallest religions makes the community more special, caring, and supportive. Having a bar mitzvah is important because it is one of the most important Jewish traditions. It is the ritual that makes a child an adult in the eyes of the Jewish community. Becoming a bar mitzvah means that I am an adult in the Jewish community. I plan on hanging mezuzah from my bedroom door after my bar mitzvah. I also plan to continue practicing the Jewish religion and plan to raise my children Jewish.
Personally, I think it's important to give tzedakah. This money can go to help plant trees in Israel. It can go to help rebuild something in the synagogue. It can go to different organizations that help family, or even go directly to those families. I think giving tzedakah is one of the biggest mitzvot we can do, that someone can do. If everyone donates a little to those places, we can make a big difference in someone's life. I will continue to give tzedakah through the synagogue.
Many Jewish values are important to me, but some outshine the others. Some of those are caring for elderly family members and visiting sick family members when they are not well and need some company from the people they care about. This is very important to me because family has always been one of the most important things to me in the world, and I would always want to be there for them. Respecting the people around you and their things no matter what. This is important to me because you should always treat people and their things like you would want yourself and your things to be treated.
The state of Israel is important to me because it's where my ancestors came from. After escaping Israel, the Israelites would have wandered the desert for 40 years. Israel is a sacred place for people all over the world. There are many cool places to go there. When I am older, I want to travel to Israel. I would like to visit Jerusalem, the Western Wall, and the Dead Sea.
Israel is very important to me, not because I've been there, but because it's a big part of the Jewish religion. Without Israel, which is the Promised Land, the Jewish people would have been wandering in the desert with no destination forever. And in my Torah portion I kept, Moses is telling the Jewish people what they must do in the Promised Land with the help of God. That makes Israel even more important to me personally. Israel is one of the most beautiful countries based on culture and based on landscape. It has great foods and great places to visit. So many landmarks and great history, such as the Western Wall and the Dead Sea.
For my mitzvah project, I'm collecting art supplies for 100 kids in the foster system. I want to do this by the end of this year. One of my best friend's families fosters kids, so I've seen the foster system up close. I feel it's important to give these kids art supplies so they have a way to express themselves. With art being one of my favorite hobbies, I think donating art is really fitting.
For my project, I am collecting sports balls and other sports equipment for Amy's Holiday Party. Amy's Holiday Party, which is part of the Creating Connected Communities, which is an organization that brings Jewish teens together to become engaged community leaders and volunteers. Amy's Holiday Party collects toys and gifts and gives them to kids that can't afford to get gifts over the holiday season. Giving sports equipment specifically is important to me because I think sports are an important part of my life, and I think that they improve child growth. This is very important to me because getting gifts over the holiday season is always great, and I would hate for someone to miss out on the feeling of receiving and opening gifts. I would also hate to see parents not get to have the joy of watching their kids open gifts. On the path to my bar mitzvah, there have been so many people to help me, and I would just like to thank them. Mom, you have always been there for me, and I've always been so supportive of everything I do. Even if I'm not doing the best, you always say I'm doing great and give me an extra boost of confidence. You do everything for me, and I would be nowhere without you. When I'm down, you're always there to make me feel better. When we do things together, I always have a great time. When I was struggling with my Hebrew and my speech, you were always there to keep me going and get it down. You're so kind, and I can't imagine life without you. I love you so much, and I hope I can be as good a parent as you. Thank you. Dad, I have always been your partner in crime and have always looked so much like you. Whether you were stuffing your face with Thin Mints and I got us cut, or we were up late watching TV, we always did it together. You have always been so supportive of the things I do. You have always been there. While I was struggling during Hebrew, you sat down with me and helped me through the part of the Torah and helped me understand the tune. When we hang out, I always have the best time, and I couldn't imagine life without you. I love you so much, and I will always aspire to be like you. Thank you. Alo, we may not always have got along the best, but when we do, we always have a good time. You always try to be there for me, and I hope it stays that way forever. We always try to annoy each other, and we all know I'm the more annoying sibling, but it's always fun, and I hope we keep a good sibling relationship. Thank you for always being there. Thank you to all the people from in-state and out of state who are here with us tonight to celebrate. It means a lot to me, and I'm glad that you came in for my mitzvah and happy you're here.
I would like to thank everyone who has helped me prepare for my bat mitzvah. Dad, thank you for helping me study Hebrew. Even though you were just sitting there, it helped me focus. I always enjoy when you take me places like Crystal and music stores, even though we're not supposed to. I'm glad we have a lot of same interests. Mom, thank you for helping me prepare my mitzvah by keeping me on track. This speech wouldn't have happened without you. I love when we go antique shopping together. Julian, I got very lucky to have you as a brother. Even though sometimes we fight, we always have gotten along really well. I enjoy spending time together. It was always really fun. I would like to thank everyone who came in person. I am so glad that we can see all of you, and I would like to thank everyone who's able to come on Zoom. Thank you to all my friends. You have always been there for me. I always enjoy seeing you. Thank you to all my family. I'm super excited to see you.
I would also like to thank Miss Joanne, who has been one of the best tutors that I could have wished for. She helped me so much, and I could have never gotten this all done without her. She has been so supportive, and she has always been there to help me get it down. Thank you so much.
Yes. I probably wouldn't have done any of it if you weren't there yelling at me every time I said it. Not yelling. Slightly encouraging me to actually sit down and do it.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
There we go. That's how we know we're done. Well, Yasher Koach to the two of you, or I guess, very well done, and beautiful, beautiful words of Torah. You've taught us many lessons here, one of gratitude and one of what it means to be humble and show humility in this world. Both of these things will take the two of you very, very far in life. And so our next thing to do, though, friends, is we're going to rise, and we are going to turn to page 39. I'd like to invite forward our honorary ARC openers. That would be Chris and Steve Marcus, Jill and Gary Marcus, Robin and Andy Siegel, and Fred and Candy, if the two of you would open the ARC on their behalf.
Eitz Chaim Him Lamachazikim Ba V'tomcheha Meushar Diracheha Darchei Noam V'chol Netivoteha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha V'nashuva Chadesh
please close our ark. And unless you are Ayla and Julian, I'll invite you to be seated. And so Ayla and Julian, if you guys can, a little shoulder to shoulder, we have a few words for you too, Cantor and I do. So Ayla, normally we'd be in front of the open ark, we'd be surrounded by the things that we know we value, which is our country, as well as our homeland of America and then of Israel. And we're surrounded, we are still literally surrounded by Torah in these moments. And so Ayla, it's been so wonderful to go a little deeper with you, because I had this lovely chance to hang out with you at youth group events and to have you in class, but that one-on-one time was really special to me because I learned so much about your kind heart, which I already knew you were a kind person. That's not hard for anybody to figure out. But in our conversations and in your lesson of gratitude, it just really showed how much maturity you have gained, not only in your Judaism, but in your thought process and in the way you put together those words of Torah for us. So, Ayla, I hope and I pray that you continue to spread that kindness, to share that gratitude, and to inspire everybody around you to do the same. I pray that you continue to be this wonderful, wonderful human and friend, someone who, though may be timid and quiet at times, can be that proud, loud, and confident person in the room. And Julian. It was also so wonderful to get to have you in class, and we were blessed to catch one another before the, at least for part of the year, without an online world. And it was so lovely to get to get to know you better too, because our time together in the classroom, you sometimes wanted to be there. You always participated, always great. But I know Sundays are hard. And yet, you always got it together. You always asked questions. You engaged in the material. You wanted to know more. You were there, so you might as well take something away. That was a little bit of the attitude, and I appreciated that. And once I then got to sit down and do this Devar Torah writing with you, I learned just how much deeper you can go and how thoughtful you are. It's not often that a young man of 13 talks about humility. That's usually an age in which you are not humble. And I was just so touched by your approach to friendship and what it means to be that humble friend and to look out for the other and to be present without having to be the center. And that's a really special quality, and I hope you continue to carry that with you as you continue your Jewish journey with us here at Emanu-El, with your family at home, and may you just continue to bring blessings and kindness and intellect into our world.
Julian and Ayla, I am so proud of you both, and the incredible job you each did leading us in prayer and in Torah. And so, Julian, I got to know you a lot on Zoom all of last year as we learned Torah cantillation together. And yes, those Sundays are hard, right? And you were always present, always ready to volunteer to chant whatever it was that we were learning. And really showed so much strength during that crazy time when we just all had to pivot. And I remember sitting down on Zoom with the two of you and your mom and your dad. I think you were one of the last families I got to start before I went off on maternity leave, and now you guys are my first B'nai Mitzvah that I get to officiate back. And it is really phenomenal to just see the journey that you've taken. And Ayla, you and I did not get to spend a lot of time together at all, but we got to chat a little bit before services. And I know you were feeling a little nervous. How are you feeling now? Still nervous. Okay. But, you know, I wanted to mention that because oftentimes we may not want to share that we're nervous about something. And so the fact that you share that and you just jumped in and led us so beautifully, that's hard to do. And you did it so well. And so my blessing for each of you, Ayla, is that you keep jumping in, even if you're feeling nervous, that you continue, even though you've got that nervous feeling, with the kind of poise that you've demonstrated today. And that, Julian, you continue to always volunteer, to ask questions, to always volunteer and share your knowledge, not only in class, but as you move forward in your friend groups, in your family, in your life. Mazel tov to the both of you.
And so now we have this special chance to offer you guys once again the sacred prayer of our tradition, the priestly benediction.
Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you both and guard you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the light of God shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom.
Wherever you go, each step that you take, may you always feel God's presence with you, and may that presence bring you shalom, bring you peace. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So proud mom and dad. I know that you guys have some lovely words to share as well, and now it's that time. So Ayla and Julian, go stand where they can see you.
Candy misplaced her glasses.
Got him.
Sorry.
All good.
Okay. We feel blessed to have so many friends and family here with us today. This is such a special day for us, and to look out and see you and your love and support, it means so much. Thank you to everyone here tonight with us in the sanctuary, and to those of you watching from home. We all wish the circumstances were different, but we feel your love too. A special thank you to Rabbi Max, Rabbi Rachel, Rabbi Spike, and Cantor Lauren Adesnik for your guidance and support through this mitzvah and your process always. Joanne, what would we have done without your truly fabulous self? You are a master at what you do and have taught both of my kids more than Hebrew. Thank you. A big thank you to Fred, Ayla, and Julian for continuing to live with me these last 4 months of planning. I appreciate all of the help you gave me, never once arguing or complaining. Not. I'm so happy to be here celebrating the two of you. You worked hard and it shows. You should be proud of your determination, hours of studying, and practice. I know that I am tough on both of you. I come from a family of strong businesswomen and men and a tough work ethic. Both of those attributes are important and will take you far. Thank goodness you both have the other half of what is important, and that is having fun and doing the things you love. March of 2020 was something out of a movie. One day we were living a normal life of work, school, and friends. That all changed in what seemed like overnight. School closed, panic set in, and I bought a closet full of toilet paper and junk food. After the initial state of shock, a new life began for us, one where Corners Drive became our little slice of pandemic utopia. The three of us have been side by side every day since March 13th. Sorry, Fred, but somebody had to pay for our Chinese pizza and my wine. Yes, we had our moments of frustration, isolation, and loneliness, but we also had each other in a whole new way. Sure, you haven't had a decent cooked meal in a year and a half, but we were together. I feel blessed with the time we spent together. I would not have had so many opportunities to yell at you to get off screens, clean your room, and study Hebrew. My favorite part of the last 17 months was watching the two of you get closer and closer. You have become genuine friends. You have your own language, which causes you to break into crazy laughter and dance moves. I just sit back and watch in awe and pride. You will be this important to each other forever, just as you said. Shmei. My sweet girl. I love you so much. You inspire me and blow me away every day. You have always known who you are, so sure and confident in your own skin. Your kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Hendrickson, told me that you are a deep thinker, taking in everything around you and processing it in your own way, in your own time. This next 4 years are going to be life-changing for you. Galloway is going to take your long list of talents and help you find what you want to fine-tune. You take after my grandfather, Bill Godfrey, and his ability to play many instruments by ear. It amazes me every time you sit down with a guitar, ukulele, or piano and just play. You also take after Biba Mima with your artistic talent. You have been inventing some of the most incredible things for over a decade, and they are fantastic, truly unbelievable. You keep soaking it all up and learning all you want to learn, and keep being you, cute, sweet, funny, and fancy. J-Man, my snugglebug, my sweet sensitive boy, you are my heart. You are hysterical and you never stop moving. Your body is moving in a million different directions and I couldn't keep up if you paid me. Your mouth is also making more noises than your dad's. Lord, help me. You definitely have the Siegel work ethic. You have worked so hard this past year and grown so much, starting with school and ending with Hebrew. You studied on your own for your own reasons, not because you were being told, and it paid off. Julian, you are filled with sensitivity, compassion, and love towards your friends and family. You possess the qualities most of us are trying to have. Your heart is huge, and you put others before yourself. You are an amazing friend, you are an amazing person, you are an amazing son. Believe in yourself and be kind to yourself. I love you more than words can express. Thank you for bringing us so much joy. TGIAO to you both. I love you.
That's nice, that's sweet. And now it's my turn. The moment that we've all been waiting for. Well, well, well. All of the years of Sunday school have finally brought us to this point, right here, right now. And if it had just been all of the years of Sunday school, it would have been enough. Dainu. That's for y'all. It's good, wasn't it? Yeah. And if it was all the years of Sunday school and the many hours of tutoring, it would have been enough. Dainu. And if it was Sunday school, the many hours of tutoring, the learning how to read and sing in a foreign language, the writing of your Devar Torah, and then getting up here in front of everyone and doing it, and really doing it well, by the way, it would have been enough. Your commitment and dedication, your hard work and effort, and all of your thought and reflection have made today your day. Mazel tov. You both have done an amazing job today, and I am so proud of everything that you have done leading up to this. And now everyone else has been able to witness your tremendous effort as well. I know it hasn't been easy. In fact, it was downright painful at times, but you made it. And as an added bonus, I actually did get to learn that you, or find out that you learned something in Hebrew school. So that's just a little bonus there. So Ayla, my dear, sweet Ayla, Daddy's little girl. You have so many passions, and on occasion, I'd like them to overlap with our passions as well, just like cleaning your room or something like that, but I digress. Your musical talent is incredible. You can seemingly play just about anything I can play on the guitar, and you've only been playing for a year, and you didn't even take a formal lesson. I look forward to our trips to the music store, and I enjoy when we search for rocks and minerals. I love when we nerd out on science. You taught me about owls' eye tubes and turtles that breathe through their butts, and woodpecker brains and tongues. Your greatest passion, however, is art. I've always enjoyed watching you create. My brain does not even comprehend how you can transform a blank piece of paper into a visually spectacular piece of art. There's always something in the works. Works on the floor, works in the playroom, works on the kitchen table, always something in the works. Your mitzvah project aligns perfectly with this. Providing art supplies to children in the foster care system, what a wonderful gift. Sharing your passion and allowing others that are not as fortunate to experience this demonstrates your kindness, empathy, and concern for others that you are so freely willing to share. You have many gifts, Ayla, but the greatest gift, the one you have given to me, is the gift of being your father. Cheers. Julian, my dude, my mini-me, you are my sunshine. So that's where, oh, no, I'm gonna cry. Crap, I don't wanna cry. You really are my mini-me in so many ways, except that you get caught a lot more than I do. We'll get better at that. I love hanging out with you and going on adventures. We definitely have some great fun together, and we can certainly push the boundaries, like staying up late playing Xbox, while eating jelly beans, and watching Rick and Morty. But none of this compares to the fun we have when we are playing with balls. Dude, we could throw the ball to each other in your bedroom for over an hour while listening to music. Right, that is funny. And then only stop because it was time for bed. We would throw the football in the street until I thought my arm would fall off. Games of keep away, tennis, throwing A-list stuffed animals, throwing anything that can be thrown. And then 7 years of playing soccer. Lots of balls. And as soon as you said what your mitzvah project was going to be, again, I knew it was perfect. Sharing your passion for sports with others, wanting to make sure others have the same opportunity and joy, is awesome. I always knew what a kind heart you have, and I delight in watching you share this with others. Becoming a man, whatever that means, is not easy. I'm so enjoying watching you become a young man. Not the man that other people think you should be, but the man you want to be. I am Julian's father, and Julian, you are an amazing young man. I want to thank everyone who is here to celebrate with us, both in person and virtually. I'm grateful to have so many special people to share this with. This ceremony, this ritual, this transformation is something we can all witness together. Tonight is just one small part of the process. So thank you all for playing a special role in our lives. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, beautiful. Another chance for hugs and kisses as you make your way to the Ark. We will begin to conclude our service with Aleinu L'Shabeach on page 40. I'll ask that you please rise. So Fred and Candy and Ayla and Julian up to the Ark.
And if you
To
could
open it.
open it. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet kirula li'yotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu kigoye ha'aratzot, velo solanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korahim, u'mishrachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, Malchei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'nemar, V'haya Adonai, V'melech al kol haaretz, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo, U'shemo, U'shemo,
Close the Ark. You may be seated. And Millers, if you will all head to the Amudim together. As we always do at the end of a service, we recall the memories of loved ones who have perhaps died in recent days or in seasons past. And on days like this, on Simchas, when we're celebrating, we imagine those loved ones with us. We see their faces smiling and surrounding us in love. The Miller family is thinking especially of Arthur Miller, Marcia Miller, and Sandra Godfrey. If you are in the first 30 days, Shloshim, mourning the death of a loved one, I invite you to please rise. If you are in the first year, Yud Bet, mourning the loss of a loved one, I invite you to please rise and remain standing. If you are on this Shabbat observing a yahrzeit, a death anniversary, I invite you to please rise at this time. And if it is your custom to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, as it is here at Temple Emanu-El, I invite you to do so now. Words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 41. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'amei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'tadar, v't'aleh, v't'halal, shemei d'kudasha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom, alinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen.
Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al kol Yisrael, Ve'imneru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromah, Uyaseh shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al kol Yisrael, Ve'imneru, Amen.
Friends, as we transition from Shabbat into the rest of the week, I invite you to please rise for our Havdalah service. So, Millers, head on over to our Havdalah set. Get that Havdalah candle lit. And we will leave this beautiful Shabbat behind and take ourselves into the new week.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. We bless the wine. Borei peri hagafen, borei peri hagafen, baruch
take a sip, and then we'll extinguish the candle in the wine. Leave enough for the candle to go out.
Abdu ben kodesh l'chol chatotenu imcho, zar'enu v'chaspinu yorbechacho v'chacho chavim, balayla, Shavua tov, 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 Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua tov, Simin tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Simin tov, Simin tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Simin tov, Simin tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Simin tov. Yehelanu, 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 Uvekol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Uvekol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Uvekol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Uvekol Yisrael.
Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, and Shavua Tov. That's it.